I've been promising to do some cooking with mesquite flour, and I'm finally getting around to it. I've been pretty busy, and the short story is you're not going to be able to make a traditional sourdough bread with mesquite flour, even in combination with another flour. However, you could ferment your batter to start it. Fundamentally, you're going to end up doing more of an Irish soda bread, but follow along on my journey if you want to see what I'm trying. Well, I think I've got a million things on my countertop here, but let's just give it a try. I'm going to use the bread machine to make the bread dough, and this is our starter. I have ground flaxseed here. This is going to make it a little more cohesive, seeing that our mesquite flour is not cohesive. It has no gluten in it. I have some Redmond Ancient Sea Salt. I happen to have some fig preserves that didn't actually seal, so I went ahead and pureed that to make it nice and thin. I have more mesquite flour and more spelt flour. We're going to keep our ratios proportionate, so we'll use 1/3 of the mesquite flour to 2/3 of the spelt flour. And then I have a little fermented vinegar here that we're going to use as well, which happens to have a natural yeast in it, and the vinegar is going to come in handy in the event that we need to add baking soda or baking powder at some point in this process. But first we're really going to try to do it the sourdough way. So let's do some measuring. I'm pretty experimental, but a lot of people actually need specific measurements. We have 2/3 cup of our fig preserves, and you could really use just any kind of preserves you want, right? Just make sure you puree it so it's nice and smooth. Let's go ahead and put this in our bread machine container. And you can do this by hand. You could use a KitchenAid mixer. I'm just using this because this is the easy, lazy way to make a dough. That's what us busy people need, right? We're going to measure 2 cups of our starter. We'll leave a little bit because I plan to do a lot of experiments with mesquite. And I'm measuring for people that need measurements, and I'm going to write down everything that I'm doing. We'll be sure to include the recipe in the description of the video. We're all about experiments in this household. And I didn't feed this today, so it's not as bubbly as it was yesterday, but that's okay. It's going to get a little bubbly once we add more flour to it. I feel like the fig preserves, it's kind of sticky, and that will help with the whole cohesiveness, seeing that the mesquite flour doesn't have gluten. Now the spelt flour has gluten, and what I like about spelt is it's a non-GMO organic grain, because I'm really big on trying to be as natural as possible, preferably without any bromulated flour, right? Because that means it's been treated with a chemical. We don't want that in our food. So now we're going to add our ground flaxseed. That actually will help with making up for the fact that we don't have any gluten in this. Okay, so we have some gluten in the spelt, but we don't have any gluten in the mesquite flour, so that's going to help with that. Then we're going to add a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, just because it'll taste better that way. The salt makes everything better, don't you think? And if you don't want to use salt, you don't have to. You know, if you're somebody that has problems with salt, but I really find that adding a little bit of salt actually really enhances flavor. So this is a 1/4 teaspoon measurement, so I'm going to do 2 of these to get a 1/2 teaspoon. And we have natural yeast in here already, but we'll be enhancing the yeast by adding a little bit of the vinegar. We're going to use a tablespoon of the vinegar. And this just happens to be a fennel vinegar in case you're interested. It's garlic, orange, and fennel vinegar. And this white that you see on the top, this is actually naturally occurring yeast from the environment. And that's what we use sourdough starter off to start. And we'll just scoop up as much of this as we can in our tablespoon. Now, if you've ever used a bread machine, what will happen is this bread machine will turn and turn, and you'll watch it, and you may add a little bit of more flour, a little more liquid, and as we do this, I'll keep track of it. but I can already tell you there's quite a bit of liquid content in this at this time, so we definitely want to add, you can see how it sloshes, we definitely want to add some flour to it. Go ahead and add 1/3 cup of mesquite flour and 2/3 cup spelt flour. We harvested all these pods. Well, we harvested them, we dehydrated them, and then we ground them, but we made this flour, so that's pretty awesome, I think. I feel pretty pleased with that accomplishment anyway. Okay, so we have 1/2 cup of mesquite flour, and we're gonna add 2 1/2 cups to keep the ratio right. So that'll be the equivalent of 1 cup of spelt flour. So now we'll go ahead and we'll go over and we will put this in the bread machine and let it get started. You can tell my bread machine is well used. And we're just gonna put this on the dough setting. I like to use this to make dough, but I don't really bake in it. I prefer to bake in the oven. And I'm gonna try to make this like sourdough. We'll see if we can get it to rise. And we're just gonna let this go around for a little bit and see if we need to add any more liquid to it. So this is combining, but I'm gonna help it a little bit, give it a push. We may be lucky here and we may have gotten our moisture content correct. So we'll just watch it and see what happens. The last time I did this and I made zucchini bread, I actually got it to the point of being a dough. Didn't really feel like it had risen very much. And at that point I added baking soda and baking powder. This is combining, but it's pretty wet for a dough. So we're gonna go ahead and add another 1/3 cup of mesquite flour. And we're gonna add 2/3 cup of spelt flour. This is combining in, but we'll go ahead and give it a little bit of help here. Just trying. I might have gotten it a little bit dry, but we're going to give it some time and see what happens here. It's definitely closer than it was. Looking at this, I really don't think it's cohesive enough to form a bread in the sourdough method. As you can see, even though we've worked ourselves into a bread shape, all the movement is happening on the inside. The whole dough ball would be spinning around, but we're going to go through the process and see what it looks like in the morning. So this actually feels cohesive. I don't think we got a whole lot of rise out of it. We're going to try a couple more things. I'm going to combine some psyllium powder with some water, so 2 tablespoons of psyllium powder to 2 tablespoons of water to soften it, and maybe 2 tablespoons of egg white powder, and add that in and then start the dough cycle over again. So first let's measure our 2 tablespoons of psyllium powder. And then we'll measure our 2 tablespoons of dried egg whites. And let's add another tablespoon of sugar because it's been, I don't know, overnight and we need to keep our yeast buddies active. And our 2 tablespoons of water. The water will help get the psyllium more cohesive. And then we'll just add the psyllium mixture into our dough mixture, and we're going to go ahead and start our bread cycle again. We'll probably have to give this a little bit of help to push it back in. You can see it stirring inside. Well, anyway, we'll see. Maybe it'll actually do the whole job itself. We'll find out. So this is actually really pretty hard. I'm surprised. We're going to go ahead and add a 1/3 cup of water to this, I think. And I'm thinking that you probably will be able to ferment your dough, but you won't be able to make a fermented, like an actual sourdough bread the traditional way using this mesquite flour. But we have a lot of resources here at hand, so we're not done with this process yet. Let's add some water to this and we'll let it run its 1.5 hour cycle. I think we got a little rise out of this time, but you're definitely not going to be able to use traditional sourdough methods with mesquite flour combined with a regular flour. You can definitely ferment the batter to have a sourdough ferment, but you're going to have to resort to Irish soda bread type tactics, and that's what we're going to do next. Now I'm going to turn this into a bowl. I'm going to add a teaspoon of baking powder, a teaspoon of baking soda, and another tablespoon of our vinegar. I just reuse this container. Baking powder is a combination of baking soda and cream of tartar. And also I just want to point out that I actually buy Bob Red Mill baking soda because I want aluminum-free baking soda. I tell you, if I ever find a good tripod, it's going to be a miracle. But anyway, the other thing that I forgot to put in our bread dough is olive oil. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I forgot that. So let's go ahead and add a little more vinegar. And the vinegar is going to interact with the baking powder and the baking soda. And let's add some olive oil. And the vinegar I'm using is actually savory. So we kind of have a savory theme going here. I added some fig preserves to start because I had extra fig preserve that didn't seal. And I just thought, well, that'll give it a little flavor. Not that it wouldn't have flavor anyway. The last time I made a bread like this, I actually made zucchini bread with some Keiko nibs, and that was really awesome. Of course, if you had a KitchenMaid mixer, this would be way easier, but it's not that hard to work with it. Let's get that vinegar in a little bit and the olive oil, and then we'll add our baking powder and our baking soda. You can see this is really pretty dense, and we're going to be baking this at a really high temperature. I have some other videos that I've done on gluten-free and actually flourless breads that use nuts and seeds. And believe it or not, this baking soda and the vinegar and the baking powder works really amazing. We're going to end up with a denser loaf of bread, but a very good and edible loaf of bread. So let's preheat the oven. I'm going to cook this at a higher temperature. We're going to use 400. So let's go ahead and get that. And then we'll go ahead and add our baking soda and baking powder. And you probably could use one or the other if you don't have both, but so far all the gluten-free non-flour bread recipes I've used have actually used a combination of both of these with the vinegar. And I love my fermented vinegars. So obviously it's going to be a little bit of work to get this mixed in. Like a potato masher might work, right? We're definitely not letting this beautiful flour go to waste. I just thought it would be fun to experiment with it and see what we could do. And believe it or not, the nut and seed bread that I make that's both keto and vegan, which is pretty cool. That doesn't happen very often. That is this dense as well. I'm going to spray a little olive oil in my baking pan. These little oil sprayers. Let's see if I can get an angle here. These little oil sprayers are super wonderful. And I'm going to get a little water on my hands so that I can work with this dough without getting it all stuck to my hands. And I'm just going to work it a little bit with my hands before I stick it in the bread pan to make sure it's all mixed together. It's actually easier to mix it with your hands than it is with that spoon. Now let's just press it into our pan. We have the benefit of the fermentation of the dough, but the baking powder and baking soda and vinegar is what is going to make this rise. And just keep wetting your hands to smooth this out. And we're going to bake this at 400 degrees for a full hour. With these types of breads, when it's really dense like this, you really want to give it the full cooking time to get the maximum effect. And then we're going to let it sit in the oven for about an hour or two to cool off before we take it out and we cut it and retry it. I can't wait to try it. All right, we have a nice bread shape here. And as soon as this oven comes up to temperature, we're going to put it in the oven at 400 for an hour. Our oven is up to 400, so we're going to go ahead and put our bread in. I'm going to be so excited to try this later today. Setting it for 60 minutes. I really like the idea of a fermented batter, but I would really love to see if we can actually make a complete bread of some sort, Irish soda bread style, with just mesquite flour. So this next batch of sourdough we're going to start, we're going to go ahead and just use mesquite flour and see what comes of it. All right, our timer is counting down, and I cannot tell you how good this kitchen smells. And the bread rose, that's wonderful. We're going to leave it alone for an hour, and then we will try it once it cools. The bread is dense, but without a doubt the flavor is good. We're going to do a hubby taste test just to see what he thinks. This is a mesquite combo bread.
You know what? This is really good. Did it come from those pods we picked?
It did.
Mesquite pods?
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is yummy.
It's got a little spelt flour in it, but the next one we make is going to be 100% mesquite flour.
It tastes a lot like black bread. It's yummy.
Well, I'm glad you like it.
Really good.